Okay, so in this third paragraph, we have 8 points after, so beneath, 8 points beneath the paragraph. All right, so let's go ahead and do this one together. I do, we do, you do. Okay, so I'm going to do it, then we're going to do it, and then you're going to do it on your own later. Okay, so step 1, click in the paragraph that you want to affect. Step 2, go up to the layout tab. If it's not already selected, then click it. If it's clicked already, then don't click it. Go to the paragraph group. That's step 2. Step 3. Go to the after, and we're going to switch this to, let's switch it to 15. So I'm going to click in there, and I'm going to type 15 and then press enter. And you see the paragraph move down there. So now we have 15 points here. Okay, and let's come down, and we're going to do this one. We're going to change this one. I'm going to click anywhere in the paragraph. I'm going to go to the layout tab. I'm going to go to the paragraph group. I'm going to click in the after input field, and I'm going to put 15. Okay, so we're looking good. We're good to go. Now, let's just say we wanted to change that. Let's go ahead and change it to actually 17. So let's change all of these. I'm going to click and right there, and I'm going to select from there to here. And we're going to select and change this to 17 points. Oops, let me put the 17 points. There we go. And all of them have changed. All right, lastly, there is one more way to change the paragraph spacing, and it's not using this, but we can use the dialog box launcher. All right, so I'm going to click in the paragraph that I want to affect. Let's go ahead and go back to the first one. And for the first one, let's go ahead and switch this from being 17 back down to 12. So we're going to use the paragraph dialog box launcher to do that. So I'm going to go and ensure that I'm in the layout tab. I'm going to go to the paragraph group, and I'm going to click this dialog box launcher here. Now this dialog box launcher right here is not in Mac. So if you're using Microsoft Word on Mac, it's not there. You have to use the menu buttons up here to get there. But we don't have that. So in Mac, this dialog box launcher is not there. All right, so I'm going to click on the dialog box launcher, and you see it opens up a dialog box. This is the paragraph group dialog box. And let's go down to spacing, and we see here the same controls here. We can control and switch this. Type it in. All right, we'll type it in. We'll put 12 there, and for this one, for the spacing before, we'll put 36. All right, I'm gonna come down here and press OK, and there we have it. All right, so paragraph spacing, very important for a number of reasons. Definitely the primary reason, remember the primary goal is what you want your document to look like. All right, just the other day I was using paragraph spacing. As a matter of fact, let me just show you this template that I'm going to sell. Let's see this one. All right, so the other day I was doing this template, and I needed to make the paragraph spacing between, oops, let me turn this, get the selection pane. We'll be learning about the selection pane. Okay, so here, right here, we have one computer paragraph, two computer paragraphs, three computer paragraphs. All right, and I can easily tell that they're paragraphs. Let me toggle on my non-printing characters, Control-Shift-8, and you see here is a paragraph mark. here is a paragraph mark, and here is a paragraph mark. Okay, and what I needed to do the other day, let me toggle them off now. What I needed to do the other day was I needed to adjust the spacing between these words. All right, and the way that I needed to do that, let's go to the layout tab. Each one, it's blank now, but each one of them has a different level of spacing. And the reason why is because I'm using a different font here. But trust me, I had to use the spacing here to kind of gauge the space so that everything will fit. You see how now everything is it's overflowing to the next page because of that spacing issue. So I was working with my spacing here to create this invitation. All right, and yeah, so a real world example, creating invitations, so many examples where you'll be needing to use this spacing, not just for paragraphs that you see like how we did just now, but I hope it didn't save that. Let me see, let me just double check. Now I gotta hit, let me turn this back on. I actually need to adjust this a little bit. I see some things here. I want to pull this way a little bit, or maybe fade this a little bit. Let's look at the other one. This one is for like a greeting card size. If you look at A5, let's look at the other one that is, let's look at this one here. Okay, so here we have it. So here, again, the paragraph spacing needed to be adjusted. We have one computer paragraph, we have another computer paragraph, and then we have another computer paragraph. And also these are paragraphs in their own right also, but it was mainly these that I need to adjust the spacing for these ones here. Okay, so my point is that you'll need to use those tools every once in a blue moon to adjust your spacing. It's not always simple to adjust your spacing, and that's one tool right here that you need to use to help you adjust your spacing for the look and feel of what you want to do. Some people say, oh, well, how do I know how much space to put and how much space not to put? Remember, you're the artist here. So you're a document artist, is what I was trying to tell you guys in the beginning of class. All these tools that you're using are like a paintbrush. All this information, you'll always have this information. There's always something to write. It's always something to write. But beautifying it is something different. That's the hard part. So yes, you're the artist. And if you don't have any art, don't worry about it. If you don't have any art skills, you'll still, with Microsoft Word, you'll still be okay. Okay, so when I first started, my art skills were very low. But actually working with Microsoft Word and PowerPoint and Excel, it made my art skills or my artistry much more powerful. Also, if you're still confused about how some documents should look, like how much space should you put, you have to start looking at documents on a regular, like other people's documents. So for example, a good place to go and see documents is, let's go here, Canva. Okay, canva.com is a good place to see documents. Just search for like resume or meeting minutes, things like that. But this is a good website here. So another one is Adobe Express, and we'll most likely be talking about those. Adobe Express, you can see some documents and the way that they're formatted. Also, you can just search a document. So for example, if you're trying to look for the way a resume looks, you can go sample resume and just look and see how they space things and put the dividers in there when you're looking at this stuff, and then try to copy it. You know, study it. Study the way that it looks and try to copy it. Okay. Okay, so that's paragraph spacing. Very powerful. If you think about taking a certification exam, it's definitely on there. Now, the second thing that we want to go over is line spacing. All right, so if we look at this paragraph right here, we can see that this paragraph, well, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines in there. All right, and if you were confused about the number of lines, we can go to the line numbers and just click continuous, and we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's telling us 6. All right, notice that this is a blank. This space right here comes from the paragraph spacing, so it does not count that as a line. All right, same thing here. This big space comes from the paragraph spacing. All right, so if you remember, I told you one of the first steps, if you see a big space that looks like it doesn't belong there, the first thing that you need to do is turn on your non-printing characters. That's step 1. If you see that there are no non-printing characters there, then we need to go to step 2, which is going to be, let's check our paragraph spacing. All right, so that's going to, once you check that, then that should tell you some answers there. So if you're troubleshooting spacing, those are the steps that you want to take. All right, if you're troubleshooting, if you have some spacing issues, and if you're looking at your document and you're like, what is going on? There's too much spaces here. First thing you need to do is turn on your non-printing characters. Make sure you check that box off, correct everything. And if you still have spacing, then you want to go to either your paragraph spacing or your line spacing. All right, let me turn off these non-printing characters. All right, and let's go ahead and continue on with line spacing. So I'm going to click in here. Let's go. Now, there's 2 ways to go about line spacing. Let's go to the Home tab, and let's go to the paragraph group. And we're going to look for this here, line and paragraph spacing button or drop down button. I'm going to click the drop down button. Now this right here, these are line spacing presets. So if you see here, we have 1 point, 1.115, 1.5, 2.0. This is double space. Okay, 2.5, 3.0. All right, and if you notice, we have a live preview of what's going on behind us. All right, so let's take a look at that live preview again. I'm going to click in this paragraph and click. Let's take a look. Look at that live preview. It's showing us how much line spacing we need. Now, if this is not suffice, we can always go here to line spacing options. But before we do that, I just want to point out something. Notice that when I'm clicking in this paragraph, that while I am doing the line spacing, only this paragraph is affected. That means that this button right here is a paragraph scope button, which means it functions on a paragraph by paragraph basis. If I wanted to adjust more than one paragraph, I would have to select both paragraphs that I want to adjust. Otherwise, it would only adjust the entire paragraph. All right, so keep that in mind. This is a paragraph scope button, similar to what we were talking, actually not even similar, the exact same thing as to what we were talking about in the non-printing characters, about different buttons affect different things. This is a paragraph scope button, and look, it's in the paragraph group. So paragraph group affects the paragraph. Most of these buttons only affect the paragraph. All right, so if I want to affect more than one, I would have to select more than one paragraph. But we're just dealing with this paragraph right now. We're just doing some experimentation here. Right now, if I click on here, we see that we have 1 point of space between the paragraphs. So if we zoom in, we can kind of see that space is about 1 point. All right. Let's pick this up in the next video.